Hi, welcome back to the Lockdown Chronicles. Simon Trezellian here. Got a great response from what we were doing yesterday, so I thought I'd take this time today just to talk about one of the main fundamentals, and that is life and death and the certainty of both. You know, it is certain that we're living, as our consciousness tells us, but it's also certain through our knowledge that death will happen to us. Doesn't matter what we do, doesn't matter what wonderful things we eat or what great exercise we do, death is certainly going to be upon us at one point. Now, we're the only animals on the planet that absolutely know that we're going to die. You know, for instance, a Siberian tiger, their life expectancy is 44 years old, but they don't know that. So they live instinctively. They live as if there's no tomorrow, because as far as they're concerned, they're going to live forever. We absolutely know we are going to die. It is merely the manner and the timing that is the issue for us. So when we come across a problem like this COVID-19, it's the uncertainty that creates fear. Fear is essentially a lack of knowledge. If you knew that you absolutely knew you were going to die tomorrow, you would make very different decisions than you're actually going to make today. And that's just a certainty. Now, the problem with this, with human beings, is that we love to be able to have the choice. Okay, it's about freedom. Human beings will do anything for freedom. They will fight for freedom. They will love for freedom. They'll die for freedom. And freedom gives us the choice in order to be able to choose the experience that we want in this life. And that's just essentially it. So why we fear certain things is because it takes that choice away from us. You know, if we all had the choice, we would die soundly asleep in the arms of someone that we love. That would be our choice. But the fact of the matter is, through accidents, through war, through pestilence, through disease, sometimes we don't get that choice. And that is what, as human beings, we actually fear. So this COVID-19, because we absolutely know that at the present time there is no vaccine, there is no cure, even though there's a lot of blue sky that's been put around. The fact is that we don't have a choice, and that restricts our freedom. So when we actually undertake things like good health, that's a choice. That's a choice that we make in order to be able to extend the amount of time that we have, but also the intensity and the value of that life. So our ability to choose is the most important thing. And what we now need to do is to actually get to a situation where our choices will determine the experience of our life. That our choices will actually help other beings as well. Because we're not alone here. You know, and I think this is one thing that will come out of this whole situation, something that is very positive, is that even though we're in self-isolation, we're in lockdown, we're told to stay apart from people, this whole experience is a jointly shared experience, not only within a country or with a community or with a neighborhood, but it's worldwide. And it's at this point we start to see something different within us as human beings. I think it was John Glenn who said that he never really saw himself as a global being until he went into space. And looking out of the window of the spacecraft, he then saw the fragility of the Earth and realized that he was actually a global being, a person that was everyone on that Earth, everyone that always had been there, that had died there, that had ever lived there, was on that single spot. And that changed his perspective. He could never really see himself as an American anymore. And I think that is something that is in some way tangible for us from a human side, but not tangible from a political side. Because from a political global point, it becomes control. It becomes a totalitarian society. And that restricts our choices. That restricts our freedoms. You know, when choices are being made, you know, from a World Bank or from a World Health Organization, for a United Nations, they actually then start to look at laws and edicts that don't serve us from a local level. Human beings are local people. You know, we gather in small communities, we gather in families, we extend that family through marriage, through our community. And it's those communities which have shared values. And it's that shared values that determine sometimes our freedoms, but also sometimes our choices as well. And that is why it's so important to keep. So my advice right now is to actually look at that from a point of view of who am I and what am I choosing today? Am I choosing to think fearfully? In which case that is going to be affecting everybody else, again like a virus. Or am I choosing to take action, real action, that not only benefits me but benefits those around me, those initially in my infrastructure and those in my eco-structure and those in my community. And that is by far a more effective way of doing things. What I would suggest in regards to from a special forces doctrine, because with special forces you're always going to be in abnormal situations. And having a normal person in an abnormal situation is actually what creates the whole aspect of heroism, because you rise above the situation that you're not necessarily prepared for, and it's those choices that you make in that moment that determine whether you live or whether you die, or whether you save someone or whether you fail to save them. So right now we need to be taking one action. Just what is the one action that you could take now that would actually increase the odds in your favor? And then when you've done that action, take the next correct action, and then the next correct action, and then the next correct action. Because as long as we keep moving, taking correct action based upon full knowledge in the choices and the freedom that we have, at that point we excel as human beings. And in that moment, we are truly free. This is Simon Trezelyan in the Lockdown Chronicles 2. See you tomorrow. Out to you.